Okay. So diversity theory. All right. My place of employment at the time is in a laboratory where the demographics are 60% Caucasian, 30% Asian, 3% Mexican American, and 2% African American. An interesting event occurred in our work setting when one of my coworkers decided to come out of the closet regarding his choice to be gay. His name is Dan Gonzalez. One afternoon, as we returned to the office and entered the laboratory, one of the coworkers verbally attacks my coworker, calling him derogatory names out loud so everyone in our immediate area can hear him. I overheard his cruel remarks. I become upset by the blatant disrespect and unnecessary efforts to debase and demean my coworker in front of everyone. I determined within my mind that I would not be like these rude coworkers who find it quite amusing to intentionally attempt to humiliate my coworker. I guess I have a soft spot for people that are treated as the underdog. Employees in our immediate area that are standing around would laugh at his jokes that are made about my coworker, I ignored the mail that was willfully and spitefully saying negative things about my coworker. His negative clique observed that I do not laugh. One of the negative men from their groups began to exhibit negative actions and calling more names to instigate a confrontation from my coworker. I walk away and he starts reacting indignantly. Observing such incidents of harassment vicariously and their continual humiliation to my coworker was difficult for me to watch. I felt bad for him. At that time, I chose to remain quiet though and observed how Mr. Gonzalez would handle their negative treatment and constant harassment. I continued working with him, giving him respect as though nothing occurred and that he was like any of the other employees in our department. I knew I would be his friend and accept him because I felt horrible by the manner in which he was treated, like an outcast because of his personal lifestyle. A few days later, as I'm walking toward one of the two workstations I work in, one of the rude coworkers say loudly, "Here comes the priest!" An outburst of laughter comes from their clique. I did not stop or turn around and acknowledge their rudeness. He is conducting himself very immature and rude. However, this time he redirected his rudeness toward me. My feelings are, how unfortunate to work with immature individuals that refuse to grow up. I strive to keep peace and be a peacemaker in an effort that encourages a harmonious working environment. When I did not respond to the coworker's rude comment, his friend says the N-word, and they all turn around to see if I would react. I ignore them. That is not my name. And I complete my task on my list for that day. I bring this matter to the attention of my supervisor. He continues to act in a very obnoxious, blatantly cruel, and unprofessional manner. I'm shocked that he did so unabashedly. Instead of lowering myself to his level, I simply reported his behavior to my supervisor after completing my work for that day. She informed me that she would bring it to the proper individuals. They do not support his negative, unprofessional type of behavior. When I return home, I ponder about the incident and let it roll over in my mind to see if there was any other manner in which I could have sought to resolve the incident at work. The conclusion I make in my heart is that I sincerely believe I responded in a manner that was conducive to my work environment as well as, in my opinion, to what I stand for. Now the best thing to do is to wait for my immediate supervisor to express to me a method for resolving this type of unprofessional, rude behavior. I return to work the next day, and my supervisor apologizes to me for his behavior and states, "We apologize for the manner in which your coworker has conducted himself towards you. The supervisors have agreed that because of his conduct, he would be coming to me to apologize personally. They're hoping that this would not happen again. Before the day is over, Mr. X did come and apologize to me. However, after that incident occurred, he also comes around my workstation saying several things during the day, staring at me. Then he threatens me by saying adamantly, "I'm going to get you back for this. I'm going to get you fired." I ignore him as though he was not speaking to me and continue concentrating on my work. Although his attitude does not change during the next days, he did not call me that N-word again or any other names after that. I realized he was retaliating by saying, "I'm going to get you fired," because I refused to get on his level. He may have simply been trying to sound cool in front of his buddies by seeking to demean me and actually did not understand what the definition of the N-word was. I believe he is ignorant or simply acting like a person that is without knowledge. I consider the source and throw the incident out of my mind. It is clear to me that our supervisors are not in favor of perpetuating racial strife and conflict in our work area. The rude coworkers would have to seek another way to continue covert harassments. I'm glad to have this incident resolved and look forward to Friday. When Friday comes, after lunch, I'm not feeling well. I do not know if it is because of the harassment by the rude coworker or not. I simply have a gut feeling that something is not right. I come to work early as usual, park my car in the employee's garage at work, and walk into the laboratory department. And half an hour after lunch, I was feeling it's a productive day. I accomplished many things on my to-do list. However, all of a sudden, I began to feel a sickening feeling in the bottom of my stomach. It feels like knots are being tied up and turning over slowly. Earlier in the morning, I visited the cafeteria and I ate my breakfast before clocking into work. I sat down in my chair at the desk and tried to relax. I'm trying to determine if it's gas inside my stomach because my body has begun to tremble. I'm not angry or anything. The sickening feeling in my stomach increases immensely to the degree that it is unbearable for me to continue working. I stand up and began walking toward my supervisor's office to ask if I can go home. I've never felt like this, whatever sickening feeling before. When I arrive at her office, I explain to my supervisor that I'm feeling sick in my stomach and it is become unbearable. She asked me, did I think I should take the rest of the day off and go home? I agreed. I was trying to make sense of everything I was feeling. She said, okay, try to get well and we'll see you tomorrow, okay? I say, thank you. Yes, I will. I walk toward the time clock and clock out. I'm walking out of the building as fast as I can to get to my car. When I open the door, all I can do is sit still for 20 minutes or more with my body slumped over the steering wheel. The sickening feeling continues so strongly, I felt that I needed to force myself to drive out of the area. I turn the ignition on and start to drive back home. I take the main streets west on Wilshire Boulevard and connect to the 405 South Freeway. I notice that while driving south, the feeling has not stopped. I turn the radio on to the KNX news radio station, 1070 Los Angeles, and listen to what the traffic and weather conditions will be like on my way drive back home. The newscaster is speaking very intensely and rapidly about some type of uprising that had started earlier that day in the south part of Los Angeles. While driving east, I look to my right toward the south part of greater Los Angeles City. What I see is, in the distance, but very far from where I'm driving, is large clouds of smoke and fire spiraling upward into the skies like a huge bomb had exploded. I begin to feel nervous and my fingers start sweating and trembling. I clutch my steering wheel and began praying while driving. The questions going through my mind are, what is this fire and smoke that I can see in the distance and hear over the radio? And why is my body knotting up in pain? My heart is already pounding and beating fast. I can almost feel it throbbing very loud. I do not stop to stare at what the traffic is going to be like. Instead, I set my car on cruise control and cruise at 70 miles per hour, which is the flow of traffic. My mind is focused on getting out of Dodge, LA. to one of the cities located 30 minutes away. I'm driving at a steady pace and time is going fast. So by now, 30 minutes has already gone and I'm almost near West Covina. The pain inside my stomach is starting to subside a little. I feel a little relieved. I think I just heard the newscaster say LA might be in some type of riot again. Although I am far removed from danger, I can feel all of the tension of what is happening miles away, and that feeling is frightening. One of my friends from a former church lived in West Covina, so I decided to take the next exit and stop for a moment at her house. She lives about 5 minutes away from the US 10 freeway in West Covina. I pull up in her driveway and her cars are both parked. She's home. I turn my ignition off and step out of my car, run up the steps and knock on her door. My friends open the door and say, "Hi, how are you? Come on in. We're watching TV, news. There's a riot in south part of Los Angeles. Take a seat." I enter and say hi to everyone, then sit down to watch the news with them. I feel like crying inside. This is what I was feeling so strongly. Whoa! My heart starts beating rapidly again. My friend's husband changes the channel and the same news is on the next channel. Changes the channel again, 2 more times, and the exact same writing, fires, people screaming, policemen running, is blasting all over the news. Whoa! I can't take watching this news anymore. I was in LA at work and felt all of this so heavily on me and left in time. We all sit watching, staring at the TV in disbelief and stunned. My stomach is starting to get sick again. I cannot watch this anymore. I stand up to leave. I say, "I'm sorry. I just stopped in to see how you all were doing. I've got to leave now." I hug my friend and I walk outside to my car. I turn the ignition on and put the car in reverse and back my car out of her driveway. By the time I am back on the freeway, continuing my drive toward home, tears are streaming down my face. I'm full of mixed emotions. Welling up inside me are questions I do not know the answer to. Why do people have to fight and kill each other? And when will all this rioting stop? I began talking to God as though he were in the car sitting right next to me in the passenger seat. "God, please stop these people from fighting and rioting, please. This does not make sense." My mind flashes back to my junior high school when some of the belligerent and rowdy kids wanted to see fights and just see action on the campus. They would race through the hallways and set all the trash cans on fire in the hallways. Then they would literally attack anyone in the hallway that was not a minority and looked like them. I felt horrible. Then, and this writing I was listening to over the radio, just seeing the news at my friend's house, tore my stomach in two. I recall when I was back in the junior high school, students were literally assaulted because they did not have a certain skin type, color, black. The other students retaliated by waiting in front of the school and throwing rocks at the windows of the buses as they drove away. School bus drivers were pulling their buses to the side of the curb, parking and watching the students chase and beat up students. Many of my memories of junior high school days were very horrible in my opinion. I remember running around our campus to find my closest school friend. She was not African American and I did not want her to get hurt. When I found her, she was okay. Then we both went looking for her sister. Luckily, when we found her, they had not bothered her yet. We all stood together shocked at what we saw until the security, police, and principal came to stop all this fighting and put the fires out. Then all the students returned to class. During those racially tense days, I remember going home and telling our parents all the scary events we encountered at school. There were male and female bullies that just wanted attention at school. One girl would literally come up to me, look me up and down, and call me the B word. I did not know her. I ignored her. After showing off to her friends several times, calling me names, they would walk away since they did not get any reaction. During lunch one day, that same girl came and spit in my food. I told our principal, and they did not do anything at that time. I think they may have been frightened by all the rioting and students setting fires all around the campus. I told my parents about the riot. They told us, stand up for yourself. Fight back, defend yourself if you have to, stick together. When that same bully girl approached me again, she had another girl with her, and she wanted to fight me. When that other girl came with the same negativity, we were definitely fighting. Our brothers had taught us some of their karate moves, and that made it fun. I did not wear anything tight because I never knew when I would have to defend myself. After fighting and winning, the girl backed off. Then came almost a week later after class with the same negative drama. I told her, I do not know you. You can say whatever you want. The day you touch me, you will never see another day again. I was so angry because this girl was very hateful, evil, pushy, and she thought because I ignored her, I did not know how to defend myself. She never came around me again after that day. We had to tell our parents what happened each day. We shared everything. Our parents decided to send us to another school where students concentrated on studying and not fighting. We were transferred out of that school to another school further east. Our parents were right. Thank you. What time?
You got more. You got 37.
Okay, so diversity analysis. Thank you. So the diversity analysis is, the diversity theory experience is revelatory as it resulted in my becoming aware of how and why I am more sensitive, empathetic, and understanding of individuals that have been victimized by such bigotry. Through the process of experiences relative to diversity of ethnicity in my life, I understand how and why I often relate to and connect with others who have experienced isolation, rejection, ostracism, estrangement by exhibiting compassion, empathy, concern, care, and a desire to comfort others through their challenging, uneventful experiences. I understand clearly how such events in my life have impacted my views and perceptions regarding ignorance, stereotypes, attitudes, and dispositions regarding individuals and groups' receptivities for or against diversity. When I observed the blatant harassment unnecessarily exhibited toward my coworker, I interpreted it as cruel, demeaning, debasing, critically judgmental, very offensive, and was disturbed and upset by their cruel behavior. Their continual disrespect was out of spite, intentional, and with a motive to cause humiliation because of his choice. They also sought to intimidate him by their negative actions and make him feel inferior to their prejudices. They wanted to impose more pressure upon my colleague by their group mockery. When I did not join in with their negativity and immature actions against my colleague, they then became angry and retaliated against my choice not to participate in such nonsense against coworkers' choice in his personal life. I believe my inaction to participate against their negative efforts infuriated them. They're clicked and they say how immature and unprofessional they were behaving. Perhaps their direct verbal attacks they considered as non-offensive or as a joke were not offensive to them, but to others they were. Their actions, however, I might believe might have resulted in a physical fight that often occurs when this type of harassment escalates. Thank you. My efforts to seek a resolution that included management's input clearly sent a message to their clique that I refused to participate in being an accomplice in their abuse toward any other employee. Further, that I refused to take part in their victimizing my coworkers clearly helped them see that I was not encouraging their type of negative action in exhibiting inappropriate and unprofessional behavior in any work environment. I intentionally was supportive of diversity and would do whatever necessary to constructively assist in encouraging harmony. Retaliation by employees that participate in this type of negativity can get out of control where such individuals exhibit covert harassment. In reflecting, I realized that I have a pattern of ignoring rude, inappropriate, negative comments, actions, and covert harassment. I focus on the larger purpose for why I am in a particular work environment or organization. I learned that I have a pattern of seeking to build bridges, strengthen and connect others versus sowing seeds of discord. I seek to be a problem solver. Unresolved issues result in stress and undue hardship on all individuals involved. Diversity theory experience opened my understanding, and I realized that I do not feel comfortable in situations where racial tensions and conflicts occurred against any particular individual or different ethnic culture. I embrace America's allegiance with liberty and justice for all, to America, the United States of America's flag, and citizens of the United States of America. Also, I learned that prejudice, biases exist in families, schools, and employment. Racism is a serious issue. Racism is a serious issue that began before I was born and can affect every person. Its tentacle claws into many facets of an individual's life and contaminates innocent children and individuals who may be open to embrace and accept unhindered by negative outside influences encouraged outside of the home environment. Our communities in the United States of America society consists of a variety of different cultures, languages, etc. Therefore, everyone has a responsibility to conduct him and herself in a professional manner in communicating, behavior, dispositions, etc. In doing so, we will encourage and promote harmony, togetherness, unity in the home, churches, and schools, and we can all be a part of the solution needed to resolve racial tension. My knowledge of racism is, 1, racism is a learned character trait. Sometimes parents encourage racism by their conversations, their actions, their attitudes in the home against diverse cultures. Racism within cultures exists when an individual in a particular group interprets another individual as having something of value, status in life, intelligence, beauty, car, home, more friends, or power, etc. An individual can experience a tremendous amount of racial attack when he or she is a minority, and individuals within their environment, circle, school, church are not open, are not affirming, or do not embrace diversity in cultures, religion, or gender, age, etc. Further, he or she may be a victim of bullying, stalking, assault, battery, abuse of all types, and suffer unnecessarily damaging experiences, insensitivity, lack of knowledge, fear of intimidation. In my experience, racism can be solved when and if it is integrated into the life experience of children at an early age, grades K through 12, church activity, and colleges. Parents' attitudes is a key factor in assisting to resolve the social issue of racism. Parents encouraging or discouraging attitudes and actions impacts children's experience and can assist in building bridges toward harmony and unity and diversity. Thank you very much. So I'll share a song that I wrote with regard to building harmony. Sweet Harmony.
Got a long way to go. We're in this place together, facing what the future holds. We struggle through the rough times, poverty, drugs, and wars. Despite our different lifestyles, the pain has touched both rich and poor.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're closing in about 7 minutes.
Okay.
That was good.
Thank you.